This is J. Krishnamurti's fifth public discussion in Saanen, 1974.
As this is the last dialogue, at least for this year at Saanen, what shall we talk over together?
Could you talk about creativity, please?
Beg your pardon?
Could you talk about creativity?
Would I talk about creativity? Huh? The unquiet mind? The unquiet mind? Meditation.
What's actually going on in the mind when you're identifying something we talked about in sorrow, and the distinction you make, like becoming the tree?
Oh, no, you don't become the tree, for God's sake.
No, but you say not to. What's actually going on in the mind when that happens? Yeah?
What's the question?
What's actually the process of the mind that's identifying or becoming the tree?
No. What is the actual process of identifying the mind with the tree or becoming the tree? I hope the mind doesn't become the tree.
Or identification?
I understood the question. Comment, madame? Comment? The daily life, with all its problems, and the other area, which is not daily life. What's the relationship of the two?
Talk about energy and action.
Energy and action. Like you have a lot of questions, haven't you?
You said a few words about celibacy.
What's up?
You said a few words about celibacy. Your own ideas about it.
Huh?
The state of being
Celibacy. What? Of course not. I was only joking, madam. Don't you know when you hear a joke and when you don't know it? My Lord.
The speaker detects to be considered a guru, a teacher, or a leader, or an authority. The speaker merely wants to be considered as a mirror where everybody can look at oneself and learn about oneself. I think that is the essence of the talks.
That is the?
That is the essence of the talks. There is no problem about it. The problem, if I may so, arises in the so-called dialogues or discussions. This reminds me, if you allow me saying so, an information bureau.
Eh?
An information bureau. Everyone puts some questions and expects the speaker answers his question. That is, the whole affair functions only in one direction, in one way. Now, I would like to ask if it would not prove to be more productive if it would function in other way round. That is to say, if the speaker would put questions to certain persons and go afterwards into their utterance.
All right, sir. I understand your question. May I repeat your question? The speaker has said that in talking over things together, His words act as a mirror. Therefore, the speaker is merely an information bureau. And could the speaker put questions instead of you putting questions and then going to those questions himself? That's right. Bene, you would like that? I put questions. What's that?
Isn't that what you've been doing all the time?
I thought so.
So in one sense that's smart. You put questions, but the questions are put to a general public, and the responses are
General.
general.
So you want...
And they function, I don't know how can I formulate it completely, but rather inadequately.
So in other words, you are saying, have a few group of people, a few, with whom you can discuss very seriously, and the others listen. Is that it? Or there are not many, only few with whom to discuss.
Well, I wouldn't say so, sir. I don't know if you would try to have so. You put questions to certain persons. Just pick up out of this.
Oh, no. Pick up questions. I understand what you're saying, sir. And then discuss with him.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to do that. Not pick up persons, but I'm going to put your question. Not really a question. We have been talking now for 5 discussions and 7 talks. Nearly a month. What has been the action of all that? In what way has your mind changed? Or are we going along the same pattern? The pattern of a new record, gramophone record, a new one, and repeat. Or is there a totally different kind of activity going on? Now, who would like to ask that question? That's what the gentleman wants. He says, you put a question to a person and let him answer. Right? That's what I'm doing. I think the better would be, sir, let me proceed. There have been several questions put. What would you consider is the important question that needs to be answered among all these? By you, or by another, or by the speaker? Question of meditation. What's the other? Celibacy. Huh? What? The good old lady. Love. Yes, Cessa. I mean, daily life and all the travails of it, and what is its relation to something which is not the daily monotonous routine. Meditation and action. Inaction. Now, which do you think is an important question in all that which can be answered? Huh? My question. You haven't answered my question. You really don't know?
What it's all about.
The gentleman doesn't know what it is all about that the speaker has been talking about for the last month. Is that it?
I wish to thank the speaker because
What, sir?
he clarified many things that were unclear in my mind. That I'm very thankful.
Don't give the speaker a certificate, please. Now, sir, nobody wants to answer. May I propose a question, which is, the energy that matter creates is one thing, and is there another energy which is not the product of matter, matter being thought? You said that's what I would like to talk about, to discuss with you. I think that will include meditation, celibacy, meditation in action, and so on.
Could you please, sir, clarify the term, say briefly what you mean by the term discuss?
I explained it, sir, the first time. I said discuss means to argue together, and also it means to shake. The root meaning of that word is to shake. Wait. And dialogue means conversation between two people. Two people who are serious, people who have problems, who want those problems dissolved through conversation, through friendly inquiry. That's what dialogue means. And dialecticism is the investigation of opinions and finding through opinions what is true. Yes, sir.
Sir, is the process which is going on in these so-called dialogues, this term, consistent with the terms we have already mentioned, dialogue or discussion? Is the process,
Yes, sir. It's a dialogue, not a discussion.
but if one observes the whole process impartially, objectively, I think one can't call this process as a dialogue.
I hoped it would be. I can't prevent you. Dialogue means, sir, let's be clear, conversation between two people.
But is it a conversation, sir, between two people?
There are people, sir, you and I.
But people put some questions and expect some answers.
No, they do not. We discuss. We talk over. They say, look, it's not clear. Would you please explain? What do you mean by this word? Is this what you mean? We have been through all that. It's not a one-sided dialogue. There was a dialogue, which means conversation, not through argument, not offering opinions, but investigation through conversation with one or two or many who are seriously concerned with their problems. That's what we have been trying to do during this discussion, these dialogues. Right, sir? Right? What, sir? We have been doing this for the last four dialogues, not at the last.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. Please allow me. And
I
if I
disagree.
yes, because you reject to be considered an authority.
Me?
You reject, the speaker rejects to be considered as a guru, as an authority. Therefore, I allow myself to utter what I think.
But, sir, nobody has prevented you.
Yes, sir.
So we've got several problems, several questions that you've all put. Meditation, celibacy, meditation in action. What else was there? Huh? Energy, and so on. Now, can we have a conversation, a dialogue about this question of energy? Energy being force, vitality, the mechanical energy produced by the machine. I'm only describing it. What we mean by that word, energy. Energy produced by the machine, energy produced through conflict, energy produced through a formula, energy produced through competition, energy produced through various forms of struggle, imitation, following, and so on. That's what we mean by energy, mechanical energy. Right? Is the explanation of that word clear? What we mean by the word energy. Energy created by thought in its action towards an end. Energy created by thought in conforming, in competition. The energy created by thought as the me, and in that me struggling to assert itself in all the various areas of existence. We mean energy that. Right? Right, sir? Now, we have functioned in that area all the time. Function being acted, moved, changed, adjusted, imitated in that area. Right? This is a dialogue, which is conversation between you and me. I'm not the speaker only. You and I are talking over together this question of energy, because it seems to me such a question is important. Whether the mechanical energy of thought, which is matter, can ever bring about a transformation in the human mind, and therefore in society. That is what we are talking about.
I think you're talking nonsense. Because what you've been talking about all of the time here are different centers of the mind. So thought, it's impossible for one center of the mind, thought, with its energy, to bring about something in another center of the mind.
Therefore, so I'm asking, sir, this mechanical energy of matter, thought is matter, is there another form of energy? Wait, sir, wait, I'm inquiring, sir, I'm not saying it is or it is not. There is or there is not. I see this mechanical energy of thought cannot possibly change this social, economic, and inward structure of human beings. They may alter a little bit here and there. Reformation and revolution are within the area of mechanical activity of thought. If that is so, then we are asking, is there another kind of energy necessary to break down these mechanical processes?
You speak about this mechanical energy in a derogatory way, whereas my life work requires this mechanical energy.
I agree, sir.
So I must find how to live with both.
We're going to find there is this mechanical energy. First, see all the implications of that mechanical energy, which is the energy of matter, thought, and so on, and what it has done in the world, technologically, economically, socially, morally, religiously, which affects our daily life, of which we are a part. And we are saying, as long as we live in that area of energy, mere reformation and revolution are changing the corners, changing the surface. In that, there is no radical transformation. That's all I'm saying. Now we are inquiring, talking over together, if there is any other kind of energy.
The structure of ID can be energy also.
What's that? Destruction of ideas can also bring about energy, obviously.
I think it's the same energy, but it's just a matter of direction.
It's a matter of direction.
What do you mean by energy? Because energy is very well defined in science.
What's that?
What do you mean by energy? Energy is very well defined in science. So do you mean the same?
I explained just now what I defined or put into words what I thought was energy. Scientists will have a different definition of energy, or the businessman, or so on. Each has his own definition, what he considers energy. When you look up in a dictionary, it means force, drive, vitality, life, all that's involved in that word.
Are you saying that in the field of art, in the field of ideas, you're dealing only with mechanical energy?
What's that?
Are you saying that you're only dealing with mechanical energy in the field of art and ideas and reformation? Another form of energy?
Now, first we are considering, at least I hope we are considering, the mechanical energy of thought and whether there is through that energy, a release of man. You understand? A release, a freedom, a ending of suffering, a different structure of society, different way of, different morality, and so on. What, sir? I know, but apparently, sir, apparently, we are still there. Because all these questions are related to that. Like saying celibacy. Now that is, all right, the way you want to tackle it, all right, we'll tackle it your way. Celibacy. In religions, ancient and modern, perhaps not modern, celibacy was considered necessary. Priests, monks took a vow to be celibate. And though they took a vow, inwardly they were burning. Right? Obviously. So there was a contradiction. The mind verbally took a series of vows and said, I'm going to remain a celibate in order to serve whatever the image it had created. And, or rather, but he suffered enormously. Conflict of all his desires, he was burning. Right? What?
Not necessarily so, sir. I think that's an assumption on your part. I think probably, I would agree that in the majority of cases that was true.
Wait a minute, sir. I'm just beginning, sir. I'm just beginning. Or the monk identified himself with the symbol or fell in love with the symbol so completely he was absorbed by the symbol. And therefore, there was no conflict. He was married to Jesus or to Krishna, whatever it was. And in that absolute identification with the image, with the symbol, with the idea, the conflict didn't arise. This identification obviously helps one to soften the desires, the urges, the sexual lust. It's like putting a toy in front of a child, and the child is completely absorbed in the toy. But deep down, the thing goes on, the mischief. In the child, remove the toy, and it becomes again mischievous, or does something else. Now, what is a chaste mind? That is the real question. Not celibacy, or the vows, or all the conflicts involved in taking a vow, or so completely identifying oneself with a symbol, with an image, with an idea. But what is much more important is to find out what is a chaste mind. Would that be all right? Right, sir? What is a chaste mind? The word chaste means pure. I'm quoting the dictionary. Please, don't jump on me. Pure, clear, untouched. A mind that is not been through conflict. It is innocent mind. I'm using that word. Please bear with me. I'm describing what that word chaste means. You may not accept the meaning of that word, but I am using, the meaning is from the dictionary. Clean, chaste, mountain. The snow is fresh, chaste, untouched. I think we ought to talk about that rather than the mind that is caught up in sexual desires and all that. Chaste also means a mind that is really innocent. The word innocence means a mind that has not been hurt. The root meaning of the word innocent means not capable of being hurt. Right? Is there such a mind? Wait. Is there such a mind that's incapable of being hurt, and therefore chaste, and therefore clean, in the ordinary sense of that word?
All very young children.
What?
All very young children have chaste mind.
All young children have chaste mind. I'm sorry. I wouldn't know. But have we such a chaste mind?
After our mind has been hurt,
Wait, sir, we are going to... have we, human beings, now in this tent, or few with whom we can discuss and go into it, have we got such a chaste mind, a mind that has not been hurt, or a mind that has no image of created by the senses. A mind that is free from the pleasure of yesterday.
Is it a quality of the mind?
Huh?
Is it a quality of the mind?
Which is what? What is the quality?
Chasteness?
Chastity.
Chastity. Is it a quality of the mind?
Is chastity a quality of the mind? Is anger a quality of the mind? Is violence a quality of the mind? Why have we made chastity one of the most important things in so-called in the religious world? Why? And before you can answer that question, is it a quality? Is goodness, please listen, goodness a quality of the mind? The mind being the brain, the intellectual capacity of perception, the various thoughts and the emotions that thought can recognize, all that we call the mind. At least I call the mind. You may call it by different name. But if we both agree that it is the mind, then we can proceed. So is chastity a quality of the mind? Mind being intellectual perception and all the memories of the brain, experience, knowledge, the capacity to draw a conclusion, the capacity to capacity to understand verbally and non-verbally, all that is the mind. Now we are introducing a word like chastity and saying, is that a quality of the mind? Right? Please. What do you say? This is a discussion, please. A dialogue. Now, what do you say? So we are not discussing consciousness, we are not energy, we are saying, is chastity, anger, violence a quality of the mind? Is the word the thing? You understand?
If you say that the mind is thought and the mind is emotions, I would say yes.
Madam, is the mind emotion?
Right. If you have denominated the mind as thoughts and as emotions, if we call the mind emotions and thoughts, then yes, then anger would be the mind. The state of mind would be anger.
If you say the mind is thought, emotion, and the recognition of emotions, and the whole of the brain, memory, all that is the mind, and if you say, is chastity, violence, anger the quality of such a mind, then the lady agrees that it is the quality of the mind. Now, please, Bora. It is the product of the mind.
Actually, it is the mind itself. If mind is emotion, and emotion
That's what they are saying too. Now, is chastity the word? Is that denote the state of the mind? Look, I use the word violence. Is the word the actual fact? So the word is the description. Let's go slowly into this. So the description is not the described, right? So what is the described? What is the described which says what is chastity? You understand my question? So we have used the word chastity. And we have, in using that word, the various images and associations connected with that word, obviously. But those words, associations with their feelings, is not the quality, is not the thing. Right? I want to... one moment. So what is the thing that is described? Look, sir, may I put it this? Let's be simple. I want to find out objectively, not with some hope or with some desire to be inviolate. I want to find out if my brain, my mind, this mind, is really chaste. Right? I want to find out. And so I say to myself, am I caught in the word? The word, the association, and all the remembrance of that awaken with the word, the condemnation, the approval, the holy man, the unholy man. You follow all that is involved when we use that word chastity. It is the traditional word to denote a man of God, whatever that may mean. I'm just not going into it. So I say to myself, is my mind caught up in the words and their association and its associations? That I must be very clear first, mustn't I? Right? So can my mind be free of the word, the symbol, and all the condemnation and approval of that word? Go on, sir. This is a dialogue, a conversation.
I would say as long as you have thought, you kind of...
We're going to... Don't say as... I don't want as long as, if, when, must. I want to see the state of my mind actually as it is when the word chastity is moved.
The word chastity is contaminated.
That's what I said, madam.
Yes.
What, sir?
Before we can talk about chastity, don't we have to look first at sex?
Oh, there's nothing much to look at, is there? Oh, let's make this all become so silly. I'm going to stick to that word because it's a very good example how our minds refuse to look at something that is not held in a word. Yes, sir? Sir, look, sir, be simple. I am not trying to convert you or tell you what to do. Let's find out, as two friends discussing a very serious matter, which has somewhat colored whole of humanity. Humanity has said, to reach God you must be chaste. You must have chastity. And people have gone through tortures about it. People are so deeply identified with their symbol and therefore no conflict, and so on, so on, so on. I want to find out if my mind, which has been brought up in these traditions, in these ideas, in these conclusions, whether it is chaste at all. If I understand it, then sex, all the other things become fairly simple and clear. Because the moment a conflict arises in sexual relationship, it's no longer love, chaste, or anything. So I want to find out How am I to find out? We go to books, go to my guru, ask somebody, say, what is chastity? He'll immediately translate it in terms of his own traditional conditioning, and I have to either accept it or reject it. So I won't go through all that business because I know it very well. So I say to myself, is the mind free from the word? And the word includes condemnation, justification, all that, and all the associations involved in that word. Right?
No, the mind.
Wait, I've asked a question. Let's find out. If I say no, I've finished. There's no inquiry is possible. Or if I say yes, it is possible, that's not, it's again blocks inquiry. Right? Can we now find out, your mind and my mind, whether it is a slave to words and therefore cannot possibly investigate? Right? Because if I have a conclusion that one must have chastity in terms of tradition, it's finished. I can't inquire.
I think we better agree, all of us, on just what you mean by chastity.
I explained, sir, what chastity means.
Could you explain it once more?
A chaste mind, a mind which has not been hurt.
That's an innocent mind.
Huh?
Talking about an innocent mind.
What, sir?
That was your definition of innocence.
No, I'm going. Innocence is a mind that is innocent, is a chaste mind.
So there's an honor.
Yes. A mind which is incapable of being hurt is a chaste mind.
Therefore incapable of hurting.
That follows naturally. So, a mind that is not caught up in images, in pictures, in the remembrance of things past and desiring more of it.
No psychological dependence.
Yeah, all that is implied and more in that word chaste or chastity. And I am asking you, and I'm asking myself, whether it is possible to disassociate once the mind disassociating itself from the word, or is the mind merely a verbal structure? You understand, sir? Therefore, it cannot disassociate itself. Yes, sir. What? Just, sir, don't introduce a simile. That takes off. Sir, please put this problem to yourself and find out whether the mind, the brain, and all the things associated with it are merely the structure of words. That structure of words being pictures, images, conclusions, depending on your like and dislike, pleasure and pain, all that is implied in the word and the memory which contains the word. I'm including everything into it.
You also include traumatic shock.
What?
You also include traumatic shock.
Shock.
Traumatic shock.
Traumatic shock. Have you had a traumatic shock now? As somebody else? So, I want to look at your own mind, at yourself, and I say to you, is the mind merely the result of words? Word, not just word, but the whole complex of verbalization and the word? Or is the mind something different? I'm not saying it is or it is not. And can the mind disassociate itself from the word? And if it does, what then is the mind? Sir, this is part of meditation. Sir, just a minute. This is part of meditation. Because meditation implies action in daily life. And if meditation is merely the continuance of a verbal structure, then we're of a verbal structure and the pursuit of a verbal structure with all its images and so on, then action is merely mechanical. Obviously. And is meditation, if you want me to describe, no, what is it? To define meditation, I will. Can the mind disassociate from the word? The word has its own energy. The word has its own content which has been put there by thought. Of course, all this. And if the mind merely lives in that area, meditation is then a purposeful, directed activity of thought and will. Right?
So what do you mean by disassociation?
Sir, the microphone, this thing, which we call microphone, is not that thing, is it? Right? The thing, you follow, sir? This metal thing is not microphone, the word. But we both agree to call that microphone. We might call it giraffe, if we both agree. That's all. The disassociation of the word microphone from the fact. Now, can the mind disassociate itself from the word? And if it does, what is the mind? And can the mind disassociate itself? You follow the problem? This is really, you've got to work at this, and it's not just an agreement or disagreement. When you realize the word is not the thing, the word wife is not the woman. But to us, the word wife covers everything. Now I want. What's that?
When I try to do this, look at chastity, the
So, now, look what you are. Meditation is not a conscious action. And that is what you have all been doing. Right? Meditation is not a deliberate act.
Why talk about it?
Why do I talk about it? Because from India, some of these gurus have brought over to this country and to America and are polluting the air. And they're forming groups, getting money, and doing all kinds of things, mischievous things with the mind. And somebody raised it, not only now, previously or all the other talks. Please talk about this. So I'm saying meditation is not a conscious act. If you realize that, it is something entirely different. Because I can, as the gentleman pointed out, I can try to disassociate the word and see what happens. You understand? Therefore, there is a deliberate action taking place to see what is the quality or the state of the mind without the word. Now, who is trying and who is recognizing the result? And if the result is according to his desire, then he accepts the result. But when I say, please don't try. Don't deliberately disassociate. Look at the problem. You understand? Just look without saying, I must dissociate or associate, what is the quality. But just look. That is, there is this mind. The mind, which includes the brain cells, memories, experience, which is knowledge. That knowledge is the known. The known is the word. The known is the field in which we are all operating. Right? That's obvious. That's right, sir? Is the area of all our activity. Sexual, moral, ethical, artistic, and all of that is within the area of the known. And within that area, there's tremendous activity of energy, right? And I say to myself, I must meditate. And I'm still meditating in that area. When I say I must meditate, I must breathe rightly, I must learn to breathe rightly, I must control, you follow? So meditation, as has been accepted and practiced throughout the world, is within the area of the known and the attempt from the known to inquire into the unknown. You understand all this? Just listen. What's up? I am not trying anything. Don't. I've said don't try. So, meditation must be totally uninvited. I'll go into that.
Sir, when you say don't try, aren't you inviting us to do something?
Huh?
When you say don't try, aren't you inviting us to do something?
Yes.
To change the course of life?
Yes. Don't try. Don't try. Don't try to exert will. Just, sir, do you know the art of listening? Just to listen. Not interpret or translate what he is saying, just to listen to the music without the romance, without the association, without all that coming. Just you listen to the lovely sound. In the same way, if you can, try, listen, not try, just listen. Which doesn't mean you accept, you deny, you agree, you this or that. Just the art of listening, sir, as the art of seeing. So I'm saying, can your mind disassociate itself from the word? The word has an enormous tail, not just, you follow? And can that happen? Don't try. See what takes place. If it cannot, then we're always living within the field of the known. Right? And therefore it's a prison. And the scientists, the really top scientists, are inquiring into this problem. Whether the mind can go beyond the known, not deceptively. You understand? Whether it can enter an area where the known has not penetrated, where the known, with all its contamination, has not touched it. Therefore, that area may have quite a different quality of energy. Now, I've said this. Now, avanti. How does that tie in with meditation being uninvited? It doesn't tie in at all. But we must know the whole field of the known and all its activities, which is the me. You understand, sir? I must know myself. Myself is discoverable, the known. I may not have looked at it, maybe hidden, but the me must be totally be exposed. The me is the word, the me is the memory, the remembrances, the experiences, the struggles, the tradition, the past, all that, with all its complexities, conscious and unconscious, hidden motives, secret desires, all that is within the field of the known. And when I say I must meditate, I am meditating from the known, in the known. I control myself, I breathe in a certain way, and I concentrate, control. All that is within the field of the known. And I say, meditation consciously done is no meditation at all. Right?
All one's questions also arise out of the field of the known.
Of course.
The me is exposing itself.
Of course, of course. I'm pleased. That's all admitted. But having put the question, what is important is to put the question.
The known is waiting for the answer. It is already projecting the answer.
No, that's the whole problem. when we put the question, we are still within the area of the known. And we want an answer within that area. But we never put the question without wanting an answer, but just to see what the question does. You have understood, sir? I said, look, there is violence. Human beings are violent. With their opinions, with their conclusions, with their gods, with their possession. It's all violent. Aggressive. Violence means anger, jealousy, competition, aggressiveness, the desire to be somebody. All that's included in that word violence. I've defined it, so can go on. Now, when there is an attempt to be free of violence, you must find out who is the entity that is attempting to be free. Is the entity different from violence? They're both the same, aren't they? Yeah? You agree, sir? So, now, I've described it. Then you say, what am I to do? You understand? When you realize that the observer of violence is himself violent. There is no. When the observer realizes, no, there is no trick. No trick. Please, just leave. There is no trick at all. I'll show you. I'm violent. I say, I'm angry. Is the anger different from the man who says, I have been angry? Is he different? It's not a question of realizing. I'm asking. And you say, no, obviously it cannot be. Now, we are saying the mind is the field of the known. The mind is the result of centuries of growth, centuries of experience, million years of knowledge. And it has operated always within that field. And it says meditation is from this field to that field, whatever that field is. And therefore, it makes a deliberate attempt to meditate. That is, try to control, try to suppress, try to silence the mind so that in that silence it sees something new. Right? That is the idea of meditation. Yes, sir.
What happens in dreams when the mind
that's a different... What happens during dreams, that's a different... So please... Now, mind is a concept, which means thought has created the word, the idea, reasoned the idea, and put it as a formula. And the mind says, yes, I am that. But you are not following what... You see our difficulty, sir? I want to talk with you and you're going off all over the tangent.
You constantly refer to one mind, and yet there are four separate areas that operate with thought, memory. There is the creative center of the mind.
There is no... Sir, You are
been identified by science, yet you're talking all the time about this one mind.
Look, all that, different parts of the brain on there.
Obviously, you're talking about another part of the brain becoming active.
No, sir. No, sir. We are not dividing the brain or the mind into different categories. Wait, sir, I know that. We are asking very simple things, sir. If the mind is incapable of freeing itself from the known, it must live mechanical life, whatever it does. And its society must be based on division, and therefore no morality. So we are asking, there is this brain, mind. Can it be free of the word? The word is the known. And what happens when the word is not? Word being knowledge, you understand, sir? Word being experience. That means, can the brain, can this whole thing called the mind, with its brain and so on, so on, so on, see the importance of the activity of the brain? You follow? And not merely hold on to that. I don't know if I'm conveying anything. No. What's up?
I repeated your
Yes. Sir, I had an experience yesterday, pleasant or unpleasant. And I carry it over today, the brain carries it over today. Can that experience of yesterday, pleasurable or painful, end with yesterday? Otherwise, it's a continuity of the past.
You understand that thoroughly, that's what happens.
I don't find out. It happens with some things you don't like. You can drop those things very easily. But something that gives you great pleasure, great excitement, sexual, I don't know, whatever it is. The experience, can it be dropped? Instantly remove. That's what we are asking in different words. You have hurt me. I know what all the implications of that word hurt. And can I drop it and not carry it over? You say yes. Huh? Do you do it? Intellectual agreement is not action. It's the same thing. We are saying the mind, the brain carries over. Therefore, it is continuing within the field of the known all the time. And in that field, do what you will, there is no hope. As we see what is happening politically, religiously, economically, pollution, all of that, the overpopulation and all the misery that's going on. So if you are serious, and I mean serious, not just words, but burning with it, the responsibility of it, then you have to ask this question, whether the mind can ever be free from the known. See, and that is what man has done, attempted to free itself. Attempted to say, well, I can't free, but there is an outside agency that will help me. If you reject all that, the outside agency, attempt, trying, will, direction, if you deny all that totally, which you must, because they're all still within the field of the known, then what is there? Mind without the movement of time as the past. We live in the past, right? That's our life, isn't it? What he said, what he didn't say, why this and why that, my memories, my anxiety, everything is in the past. My fears, the remembrance of fears, my sexual appetites, and the appetites projecting themselves tomorrow through image, through sensation, through pictures and all that. Now what is the quality, what is the nature of the mind when there is not through will or desire or attempt, when you see that there is no way out through the known, then what does the mind do? Does it get depressed, hopeless, cynical? All that is still part of the known. So can you, this is a dialogue, that is conversation. Have you done this? Not verbally, but actually gone into it. And you will say to me, have you done it? Naturally, right, sir? I thought so. Look, sirs, the speaker would never say anything which he hasn't done. What? What? Seen what? Have you seen? Do you see the gentleman's question? If you have ever done this, gentleman says, what have you seen? No, sir. He wants something else. No, you please answer the gentleman's question. To see, to observe, without recognition is one thing. To observe with recognition is still within the past. Right? You're following this, sir? So there is nothing to see. And nothing to experience. I said so, sir. Moment you recognize something, I recognize you because you were here yesterday. And that recognition is the movement of the past. You were here yesterday, the brain registered it and says, today I recognize you. So, if there is recognition when the mind is free of the word with all that, then it is not free of the word, it's free of a certain series of words.
It may not necessarily be words.
What, sir?
Recognition is not necessarily be words.
Can you say that you have had an experience without recognition?
Yeah, I would say.
What is that?
I cannot name it.
That- That's what we are saying, exactly the same. You're asking me what I saw.
Yeah, but it doesn't lead me to anywhere.
Why should it lead you to anywhere?
Then why are we here? Listening to you.
I don't know why you are here, sir. But why are you here, any of you? Why are you here? Because you want something from me, it is suggested. Huh?
Find out about ourselves.
So what are you here for? I would like to ask this gentleman who says, what are you here for, sir?
I wanted to see if you can find some way you can leave deeper life. Now you say do not try. So there's no point in trying to sit down or go into a cave or just
Sir, that's not quite fair. That's not quite fair.
when there is no question,
Sir, that's not quite fair. You haven't understood.
possibly, quite possible.
Lei stava dicendo una cosa molto interessante. Ha chiesto a noi, lo state facendo questa cosa? E poi aveva soggiunto. Forse adesso voi domanderete a me, e lei l'ha fatta questa cosa? Io non vi darò mai una simile risposta. Perché lei non ci darà mai questa risposta?
Quite right, sir.
Poi l'hanno interrotto. Why you don't answer us if you have done or not? You say, I never say you if I have done or not.
I've just now said, sir, if I put it differently. If I don't talk, the speaker doesn't talk about anything which he has not done or all the rest of it. Otherwise you'd be a damn hypocrite.
So when you speak about that state,
No, I don't speak about it. Madam, you're missing my whole point.
okay, let's say when you just mentioned that, yes, there is a place beyond the mind.
I did not say that, madam.
So
I did not say that. No.
then I misunderstood. Therefore, if you haven't reached a place,
I did not say that either.
I didn't say that either.
No.
So why did you say this? Could you repeat?
Oh, my.
Because the question was,
Madam, I know what the question was. Madam, I know what the question was.
can we get
No, please. That was one of the questions. The other questions were, are you speaking, saying things which your mind, which were realized, seen, understood, comprehended, aware, attention? Do you know what you are talking about? Or is it merely an intellectual amusement? Right? I am sorry, it is not an intellectual amusement. If you, as the gentleman asked, what have you seen? There is nothing to see.
Does the speaker then talk of deep relaxation? Is that what you mean by the term meditation, where the mind is completely blank?
Not blank, sir. You see, you first use the word blank, and I have to contradict that word, and then we get into verbal communication. I don't say blank. That's why, sir, I'm asking you whether the mind can disassociate or separate or put away, understand the nature of the word, and find out happens, what takes place. Don't previously say it's blank, it will see visions of Krishna, Buddha, or somebody standing on his head and all the rest of it. But
If you wanted it to, would you see color?
that's another of your ideas.
That's not an idea.
Sir, see, this is so hopeless to talk.
Let the speaker can quieten his mind, close his eyes, and see color
Sir,
or see
sir.
nothing whatsoever.
Sir,
And I'm asking if that is the
may I put a question this way? Has love a motive?
love is compassion.
No. Has love a motive?
Not love it, it has a motive.
I'm,
But love is not.
sir, please, just has love a motive? If it has a motive, is it love? No, wait. Now I want to find out. I want to find out if I have a motive. And if I have a motive, it is not love. And I won't use that word ever till there is no motive. Then you ask me, what is that love without a motive? I say, I can't tell you. Then you tell me you're cuckoo. Because you want a verbal communication and accept or reject according to your idea of what love is. That's all you are interested in. You don't say, now let's find out if I can live a life without a motive. Except in the world of getting money, I have to have a little motive. That's irrelevant. Psychologically, I'm talking about.
Aren't all these questions that have to deal with what you're seeing and with what you're experiencing, aren't they misleading? And can't even your response, which says that you wouldn't speak of anything that you're not experiencing, isn't that response more subtly misleading also?
Sir,
Because
sir.
it's involved in belief. And
Sir, unless you and I understand the meaning of the word and the difficulty of the word and the communication. Communication implies sharing together the meaning of that word in the dictionary means sharing together, thinking together, not agreeing, thinking about the problem together, partaking, building, doing things together. All that is contained in that word communication. Now, we know there is a verbal communication and non-verbal communication. The verbal communication may also be very deceptive, misunderstood. And the non-verbal communication is much more difficult, much more deceptive. So we must go through the verbal communication first, that we both understand, and then perhaps we can commune non-verbally at a different level. What? What's that? How do we commune? How can we commune on non-verbal level?
you say that you have gone beyond.
No, sir, you asked a question. Wait a minute.
So I want to put the same sort of question.
I didn't say. I said, sir, you are misquoting me. I must correct it. I did not say I've gone beyond. That's what you understood. That is quite a different matter. I said I would not speak of anything that it is gone through. I would be a hypocrite, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. I said that very clearly. I won't answer your question. That's an impudent question. No, madam, what time is it? Huh?
You asked before why you are here. Why? I am here.
No, I didn't ask that question, sir. Somebody asked. I wouldn't be impudent enough to ask why you are here. She asked. Madam, don't go into all that. Now look, we have to stop. We have talked, the speaker has talked during 7 talks, and we've had 5 so-called dialogues, communications, verbal, as friends meeting together, serious and concerned, not with their own little problems, in which their little problems are included when we consider the whole problem of mankind, the whole problem of overpopulation, pollution, the corruption that's going on right through the world, the deceptions, the divisions of religions, races and nationalities, wars, violence, all that. And what is your place in it? After listening to 12 talks and dialogues, what is your place in this world? You have to answer it, not to me. I'm not your confessor. But you have got to answer that question. If you are serious and feel utterly responsible, the answer is there. Because life is action. And if your action is based merely on your self-centered opinions, judgments, evaluations, then you are just merely answering irresponsibly. But when you have looked at this whole human endeavor, with all the things that are going on in the world, the new inventions, the destructive machinery, all that's going on. And you who are educated, so-called educated, and what are you educated for what? And what is your place in all this? Just to disappear into all that? Be swallowed up? So, if one is utterly responsible for the whole, for the world, because the world is you, and you are the world, there is no question about it. And since we human beings have created this monstrous, ugly world, not nature, the world of human relationship. You have to, if you are serious, you have to answer it. And therefore you have to find your place. What is your place in all this? Just go off and meditate, or join this party or that party politically, or follow this guru or that guru, follow some authority to save your own little salvation. So the house is burning. If you don't see the house burning, there is nothing to be said. But if you see the house is burning, you have to act. Right? That's all, sir.